Joel, I don't know what he does for a living. Is that ever? Is
I
that
don't
ever
think. I
said?
mean, he has a job. He's carrying a little briefcase type thing, so I'm assuming he's like an office worker type,
Mm-hmm.
like myself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really define who he is in the least.
No, his
Yeah.
appearance, it's like, it makes me think of Casino Royale. You wear the suit with disdain. That's what I feel like with Jim Carrey, is he's got on,
Yeah.
his slacks and his sweater and his button down, but he isn't shaved.
No.
And then, like, he's got this kind of long, kind of,
Disheveled, kind of
yeah.
shaggy dog hair.
And he's always got, when he has the sweater on, he always has, like, one of the collar ends out.
Yeah.
It's always like, it's just like he's doing it, but it's just like doing it in this really kind of half-assed way, and it's funny because we talked about the Lacuna employees being like this. But I maybe this is just a statement about people that just go to an everyday job that isn't a passion for them.
It's possible, yeah. Because, yeah. But I also think it's kind of what I was saying about, like, the inner life being the most important thing. Like, if you look at this movie and think about Joel, if you just kind of focus on that with him,
Mm-hmm.
he's almost never interacting with someone unless he needs something from them. Whereas I know I can at least think of one instance in the movie where Clementine is just kind of talking to people on the street, but Joel doesn't choose to, like, interact with people. He's not a people person, whereas Clementine is very much, and her personality type to me reads very ENFP, which is what you are, which is like this very enthusiastic person who's very, you go in and you just want to grab life and squeeze the juice out of it,
Yes.
and you like to talk to people and you like to see what their experiences are. And that's like when you feel most alive. It's when you're having like this connection to others,
Yeah.
and that's what I see with her character. And that's what I think Joel responds to in Clementine so much. And she turns around and says to him, which I thought was interesting too, there's this whole manic pixie dream girl type of trope that I think this movie's trying to stomp on. He's kind of trying to put that trope on her. He's kind of trying to define her as like this manic pixie dream girl whose like free-spirited ways are going to save him from himself. But she says to him, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be, I'm trying to take care of my own self. And, I'm not here to save you. And, I think that's she says that in his memory. So they've had that conversation before. And at the end of the movie, they have that conversation again. And it's like she's very reluctant to start a relationship with him without him realizing that she is not perfect. She is not his ideal person in his head. She's a real human being.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to recognize that. And if he chooses to be with her, then he chooses to be with a real human being who has her own ways and her own definition of herself that's not going to be defined by him.
Well, because the first thing comes to mind when I think of her hair is I think about The Fifth Element.
Mm.
And, Mia Jovovich?
Mia Jovovich. Yeah.
Thank you. So I first thing that comes to mind when I see Clementine's hair is Mia Jovovich in The Fifth Element.
Lilu.
Yes.
Yes.
Multipass.
With the orange kind of little wig.
Right. And in that film, they really went with that image.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They went with, this is this, perfect woman that was created. And, she's there to be with you.
Yeah.
And to serve you.
Yeah.
And to build you up and to save the world. And you have to look out for her because she's gentle.
She's vulnerable.
And she's sexy.
Of course. She's everything you want her to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's...
Because she's fake.
Exactly. And that's, that's what I think about. I don't know what year The Fifth Element was. I'm pretty sure it was long before.
In the 90s at least. I mean, pretty sure it came out when I was in college.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So it's like this again, giving us a character, with even a look that suggests Lilu. I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see it. And I also want to say with Joel and interacting with people, he does interact with his friends Rob and Carrie.
Yeah.
And that may be why you were thinking that there was a family situation there, because he doesn't really interact with anyone else.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is probably me kind of putting my own self into it a little bit, because I do identify with the Joel character pretty deeply.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of friends, but when I do really attach to someone,
Yeah,
it almost is more of a family kind of a connection.
sure.
Like when I think about my very close friends, I think of them as family just as much, if not more, sometimes, than I think about my own family, because it's kind of like these are the people that I've chosen
Yes.
to attach myself to. And that there's a huge weight to that for me when I'm somebody who doesn't really attach myself to people too much. And the funny thing, though, is that, the first scene we see with them, they kind of start arguing.
Yeah.
And his discomfort goes like off the charts, where he just like doesn't want to be there, because it's like near impossible, I think, for him to deal with their strife. Like, it bugs him too much because it pulls him into something he doesn't want to be a part of. It makes him very tremendously uncomfortable. Which that kind of stuff happens to me all the time. Like, I'm constantly being dragged into people's drama, and I don't want to be there.
Sure.
So I get it. But
Well,
yes, that really is the only time besides Clementine that we see him kind of attaching or associating with somebody on a deeper level.
Well, and he has boundaries. When we see, Clementine and Joel on the train, she keeps getting very close into his personal space, and it's making him very uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, she's kind of tactile, which you are too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a hugger,
Yep.
and you like, people. And he is very much uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because it is just an invasion of personal space to him. And he's also just afraid. Again, I'm telling you, I really associate with this person because this character is so me, with his avoidance. Like, at the beginning, we later find that this meeting between them, which seems like it's their meeting for the first time, is actually them meeting after their memories have been erased. But she's instantly, like, super interested in him and wanting to talk to him, and he's very interested in her too, but he's extremely afraid of that. Like, he likes her so much that he's terrified. He keeps saying that he needs to leave, he needs to stop talking to her, he needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the first night that you and I kind of expressed our interest in each other, I did the same thing. I was like, okay, yes, I like you, I'm gonna go now. Because it's like, you're scared to be open. And I think that we see that with him here, is that he's terrified that he likes someone this much.
Yeah. I can really see that.
Yeah. So
I can really see that.
It's just so real, so amazing. And yeah, for me to say that Jim Carrey kills it in this role is me saying something, because I do really see myself in that character so much, the character of Joel, so much. And I don't always see characters that I identify with that much, but they did such a beautiful job writing this person,
Yes.
making him seem real, and then the way that Jim Carrey brings it to life is just fantastic. And again, I don't think there is a single time that I've watched Kate Winslet in something where I didn't like her. I think she's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this is one of my favorite things she's ever done.
I agree.
And not just because she has awesome hair color in it in every second. I love the red wig the most. That was my favorite. She's wearing wigs for the most part, not dye.
I didn't know that.
because they didn't shoot this in sequence, so it might be a different day, you know, and there's all these different ones. But the scene where they're like hiking in the forest, and it almost looks like she has the hair of the Wendy's mascot, Wendy.
Yeah.
It was my favorite hair. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just all around a super great movie.